Jackson Vaughan joins us. Jackson, first of all, it's a pleasure having you on the show. And for what you have been through from a personal standpoint, before we even get to sports, huge admiration, my man. You have fought it and challenged it and went front and center. And the reason that, you get the Stage 4 nickname and all that stuff, man, nothing but respect from us to you. And congratulations on what you've accomplished.
Thank you, guys. It's really an honor being here, and I appreciate your time.
Your battle, we'll get to baseball in a second, but your battle in life, I'm curious your attitude, because and again, we don't know each other. We just talked during the break, but can already pick up your sense of positivity and, hey, embrace each and every day and go attack it. If you can tell your story a little bit for everyone, so they understand and where your positive vibe comes from, I think it would be really refreshing, quite frankly. Go ahead. Tag, you're it.
For sure. Yeah, so, I didn't always have a positive attitude, and especially when I was little, I didn't know what was going on. To give you a basis on my story, around the time I was 3 years old, I was playing in the backyard, and my mom noticed a bump on my abdomen. She didn't really know what was going on. And we went to a few different doctors, and they said, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later. We'll just keep up with it. And, eventually went to Lucille Packard's Children's Hospital, and within 30 minutes, they diagnosed me of stage 4 liver cancer. From there, I went on to have 11 rounds of chemotherapy. I had my first liver transplant, and that ended up being unsuccessful. And while in between my second and third liver, I had a heart attack, and I had 10 minutes cardiac arrest, and then I had a second heart attack after that, which lasted me 36 minutes in cardiac arrest. And luckily after that, I got another liver, and basically smooth sailing after that. I'm glad to be here.
It's incredible. By the way, and I'm always fascinated with stories like this. When you have no heartbeat for 36 minutes, did you experience anything? Do you remember?
I wish I did. I didn't. They had a lot of, drugs in my system at the time to make me not remember and hopefully cause less trauma. But it was a big deal that I was out for 36 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of complications that can happen. I mean, one of the main things is brain damage. A lot of people don't really come back the same after that long. But luckily, and thank God, that I am able to function normally.
And I don't mean to be too personal here, and if it's too personal, you certainly don't have to answer. But did you, your relationship with God, just kind of walk me through that a second, given everything you've been through?
It's an interesting relationship. I've always thought that I've had a sort of destiny about me, but I've never been all that close to God. And then coming to Georgia Tech, I'm in the Bible Belt, and I actually started going to church a good amount with some of my teammates, Ben King being one of them, and just kind of going to Bible study with them has been really helping me out and trying to see beyond myself and see the bigger picture. So it's really nice to have such good teammates to show me the way.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool. So we see on the note there at the bottom, the lower third, you're the only NCAA student athlete to play after receiving 2 liver transplants. And you said yourself, you're functioning just fine today. This could be something, because you experienced it at such a young age. You were 3 years old, 4 years old, that you could kind of just go about your life and not really speak about it or bury it and just say, hey, I'm going to move on and this is me now. But you choose to share your story. Why is that such a thing for you?
I think one of the things that I always have to say when coming on and talking about it is how amazing the doctors at Lucille Packard Children's Hospital are, and the nurses, everyone there. And beyond that, being the first, you have to pave the way for other people. So if some kid is going through liver cancer right now, if they're going through lung cancer, whatever cancer it may be, whatever illness it may be, I'm hoping to show them that there's life after this. Whatever they're going through is not the end. And I really want to be someone that they can look up to and hopefully be like someday.
So after all that, when did you start playing baseball? Because here you are now at Georgia Tech, and we'll get into your journey to get to Atlanta. But when did you pick up a baseball after all this medical extravaganza?
A long time ago, but I think I was either 7 or 8 years old, and it was after a failed stint in tennis. I was not very good at tennis, so we moved on very quickly.
I want to go back though to you embracing each and every day. And, I think a lot of folks who are watching or listening to us now getting off work and you're thinking, oh, my boss is a jerk. I hate my job. My life stinks. My dog doesn't look at me. My wife doesn't, whatever it is. I mean, we all got 1,000 reasons, right? I got a funny feeling that your outlook on life each and every day the sun comes up, probably something we can all learn from.
I would say that I'm on borrowed time. I'm not supposed to be on this earth. I'm, for lack of a better word, supposed to be 6 feet deep. And because of that, I try to attack every day, just like you were saying. I don't think there's ever a bad day. You're either having a learning day or you're having a great day. And regardless of whether I just did bad on a test or I had a bad outing, it never really defines me. I've already had enough things happen in my life to where I can be like, I'm a good guy. I'm supposed to be here, and I love my teammates. I love myself, and that's all you can say at the end of the day.
Jackson, when you hear people around you, and we all fall into this category, that are complaining or whining or are negative, does it deflect off of you, or do you get a sense that, hey, you know what, I can make a difference, and let me put my arm around you and just give you a bit of advice? I mean, how do you handle that?
I do try to help out a lot of the freshmen sometimes. I mean, if they're ever feeling down or whatnot, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I ended up getting cut from Santa Barbara, as you guys probably know, and that was one of the hardest years of my life. And being able to look back and say, I got through that, it made me a lot stronger. I am failing to see the bad in those quote-unquote failures. Like, I learned so much from it, and I realized that, as I said, these moments aren't going to define me. It's just a single occurrence rather than what it is for me.
So you started your journey, your collegiate baseball journey, UC Santa Barbara. You get cut, like you said. You go to Delta College. Then you go to Pacific. You spent 2 years there. Your first year wasn't so great, had good next year, and then you come to Atlanta. Well, why Georgia Tech? How did you end up here over on the East Coast?
Oh, man. Well, I was talking to my pitching coach at UOP. His name was Dan Jaffe. And Jaffe was telling me about how he used to work at Tech. And he was speaking about Danny Burrell and Coach Hall. And he was just giving them such great admiration. And it kind of rubbed off on me. And I eventually started talking to Debo over the phone and got to get on campus with both of them. And they were just such professionals. I mean, they were cool, calm, and collected. And man, they just made me feel really at home. And you can't look past the amazing facilities and whatnot, but the people are always first, for sure.
So what's this season been like for you, getting to finally play Power 5 baseball, doing what you're doing in the city of Atlanta? Where have you felt like you've grown the most this year, on and off the field? Because this is a different part of your journey.
Where have I grown the most? I think trying to be a leader and trying to help some of the guys out with their mental struggles. I mean, I'll say it myself, being a D1 athlete, you're not always the most mentally stable. You have a lot of pressures on yourself. You're going through school. You're trying to balance family and everything. And I'm trying to tell them, like, it's okay to have a bad day. That's not going to define you, like I was saying. Just have a good process and see what you can do each day to get yourself better. It's not going to happen in an instant. You're going to get accumulated wins, and that's going to build up over time. And I kind of take that on and off the field. I don't really think that there's too much difference in both of those.
Jackson, who do you look to when you go through a downer? Like, again, we all have bad days. And you talked about the fact that, I'm not supposed to be here right now. But is there somebody that you reach out to in terms of somebody that you get advice? Maybe it's a great book that you've read. I'm just kind of curious where you turn when you all of a sudden get a sense that, hey, you know what, I need to get out of a daily funk, for argument's sake.
So I will say that my family and everyone is great, but one of the guys that I go to when I'm not doing great in baseball is my buddy Jake Jesse. I went to high school with him, and the reason I go to him when I'm struggling in baseball is because he does not care about baseball at all. So like, man, I'll be like, man, I had a bad day in baseball. He's like, I don't even know what that means. And so I could be playing baseball, I could be mowing somebody's lawn, I could be doing whatever, and he would just love me for me and be like, hey, you want to go play video games? Perfect, let's go do that.
We all need a friend like that who has
There's no doubt.
absolutely no clue, is not part of your industry, is not part of your team that you need to lean on and vent to once in a while. Speaking of baseball, massive series coming up this weekend against Pitt with you guys. Give us some insight. What have the conversations been like this week? Practice been like? Because really we're coming down to the end of the season and postseason positions are on the line at this point.
It's true. I think we've been able to keep a very competitive environment. I mean, we were doing PFP drills in teams the other day, and all the pitchers got really excited just because we were competing. And even the hitters today, they were doing a competition in BP, and they were just making sure that they were always engaged and locked in, and not only competing, but having fun while competing. So I think we're just going to take it one pitch at a time, and that's all you can ever really do.
Well, you're right about that. It's just like taking one day at a time, right? And for your particular case, that has never been more important.
Exactly. It fires me up seeing my boys on the screen, by the way. It's pretty cool.
To see your highlights on there. Okay, so what's the biggest difference between that Bakersfield, California area where you're from to the south, where you are now?
Biggest difference. This is going to be really weird, but I think the milk in California tastes better. I have no clue how that is. It's something with the aftertaste. And then the other thing that I've noticed, and this is probably going to get really weird too, but the dragonflies in Bakersfield are red and they're blue here. So I don't really know.
I've never seen a red dragonfly. I don't think. So that would be.
So yeah, I guarantee you that's not what you were expecting, but that's what I picked up on.
Jackson, I can tell you this. For anybody that had Red Dragonfly conversation on ACC Network for $100 today, they just made a ton of money because nobody in their right mind thought that would ever be a topic on this show. But you have broken it down for us like nobody else. Listen, I speak on behalf of everybody. Man, congratulations. You are an incredibly inspirational story in every sense of the word. And that's true whether you play baseball every day of the rest of your life or decide, how am I going to play it again? I mean, you're unbelievable. So, again, you're an easy dude to root for, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thanks.
You too. Best of luck.